Hello, welcome back. This is Chuck Byers, and this is Andy255, and we are working on our water fountain. So we've got 4 tiers so far. We just need to finish it up with the top, where the water is actually coming out. So I'm going to do the same technique. I'm going to go in here and go ahead and create Curve Tools, EP Curve Tool. Go ahead and reset that. And we're ready to continue. So we're going to start at the base here where the water is going to be coming out. I'm going to go ahead and click on Grid Snap like I always do, and just click on anywhere down here where it wants to snap. I'm going to click off, turn off Grid Snap, and continue going up. Okay, we're going to make the outside. I'm going to add quite a few of these here. There we go, all the way down and around. And we'll create a base here at the bottom. And do a couple, and then we'll return, click on the Grid Snap again, and it's probably going to go to the same spot, so I'll have to go down. So I'm going to hit the backspace key, and I'm not sure where my grid, there it is. There's my grid. So I'm going to click Enter, and I am going to put this guy in a layer so I can work on this real quick. Okay, so I'm going to click on it and go to Control Vertex and move this point up. Now we're going to turn Grid Snap off again. Okay. And just move things around so they're about as flat as I can get on the end point here. Move these up. There we go. That looks pretty flat there, so we're okay there. And here the inside, I'm not too worried about that. We could probably bring all these over a little bit. Give this a little bit of a tighter edge here. There we go. Let's go ahead and move these out a little bit more. Let's move this one down. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's bring that a little bit closer. Okay, that looks pretty good. And I think we're going to make that a little bit taller. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and bring this one back in again and see. It needs to lay pretty flat on there. And that might be a little bit too wide, so I'll bring that in a little bit more, like that. And we're going to bring this down. And let's bring that a little bit closer here. Whoops. Let me turn that on reference. There we go. Bring that one a little bit closer. There we go. Okay. Lay that flat. And I think we still have, we can still move this a little bit closer maybe. There we go. I think that'll work pretty good. Let's move this out a little bit more. Okay. Okay. Alright. I keep saying it looks good and I keep messing with it. Alright, so that's how it goes. It's kind of a bulbous little thing here on the top. And I'm going to do my own little style here. And that's okay. You guys can do the same thing. So that's just the top of it. See how it looks. Let's do a revolve on it. I'm going to go ahead and edit reset settings. And I just need to go in here and go to curves and reverse direction, and there we go. It doesn't really match. It needs to be a lot thinner, so let's go and click on it, and I suppose I can just go in here and make my adjustments here if I need to. So let's just go ahead and start moving things in. It's, like I said, a little bit too big for my taste. Let's bring that down here, bring that in. There we go. And continue that in. Okay. Let's bring this up a little bit. Let's bring these things up and bring this up. I think this is interesting here. Like that. There we go. And let's keep working on this a little bit. Make that base a little bit wider. There we go. And we'll bring this up a little bit higher. And we'll thin this out a little bit more yet, like that. There we go. That's looking a little bit better. I think it matches a lot better too in there. Okay, let's take a look at it now. That fits pretty good. I might scale it a little bit differently, but I think that looks a little bit better than it did. Okay. Alright, so the inside, let's go ahead and pop that in. Make that a little bit thinner. There we go. Yeah, let's do the same thing with this. Just thin that out a little bit. So some more, a little more doable here. Okay. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Alright, then I'll give a nice little, it's a nice little nozzle. Okay, I think that fits pretty good there. Alright. Pretty happy with that, and we can make changes as we go along, but we always want to keep those curves. So what I'm going to do now is that now that we have the surfaces finished, we can take all the curves and put them in layers and save those. Okay, and we have to go down to the bottom to find this one here, I think. I'm going to hit the 4 key. I see one. Alright, let's do this. Make it a little easier. Let's go show none, show NURBS curves. So there's the rest of them. select those, put them in a layer. There we go. And then we can go to show, turn that off, and go back to show surfaces. So that should show all the surfaces we have. That looks great. And the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to get rid of that grid just for now. We're going to need to get in the right grid units here. We're in centimeters and we need to keep that way, but this is way too big. So what we're going to do is we're going to save the surfaces and put them in a layer, but we're going to transform those. I'm going to go to my revolves. I'm going to do 16 on that one, and we're going to do 16 on this one. Well, I guess we can't do 16 on that one because that's as far as it lets me go. The history got deleted on that, I think, but this one didn't. Okay, and I suppose I could, if I like how that turns out and don't like these, I can get rid of those and go ahead and duplicate this one again. But we're going to turn everything into polygons now. Okay, alright. Okay, so that's revolved. Alright, so that's what we're going to do. So let's get started. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into modify, and we're going to go into convert NURBS to polygons, and we're going to go into edit reset, and then click on control points, click on tessellate, and that's NURBS. Oh, it's there, but I need to show all. There we go. And so there it is. Okay, I'm going to move that out of the way. That's the polygon. That's the surface. Okay. So we're good there. That looks pretty good. Pretty happy with that. And then with this one, same thing. Okay. I'm going to go into modify, convert, NURBS to polygons. And I think I've got it all set up, so I can just click on tessellate and move that over like that. There we go. Okay, so the next thing is this, and I need to do a higher resolution on that. So what I'm going to do is click on this and just do Control D, okay, and go up to this one. Just move it up like that. And I am going to go ahead and move that pivot point down, okay, and then I'm going to do what I did before, just kind of scale it in to where it matches, and then scale it down to replace that one there. Just get it right in place there. Okay, so then I'm going to just freeze transformations on that and move it over to the side and get this one in a layer. Okay, and turn that off. And just put that one back again. Okay, so that one's done. And then I'm just going to take that one that I just created. Okay, and I'm going to duplicate that. And that one's going to be duplicated up to that one. And do the exact same thing. Go ahead and scale it. And this one I didn't do much except for scale. Okay, and then I'm going to freeze transformations on that and move that over to the side. Click on that one. Okay, now what I'm doing is I'm just replacing the ones that have 16. I'm gonna convert those to polygons, and I wasn't able to do that before because these were 16 subdivisions. This one was, and I had to duplicate that up. So that one's only got 8 subdivisions, so I need 16. So I'm going to go ahead and continue doing what I'm doing, That's Control D is duplicate. Just move it on up. And just go ahead and scale that in like that. And do what I've been doing. Just kind of freeze transformations. Move it over. Get rid of this one. And bring it back again by just doing the 0 here, zeroing it out. There we go. So all those are good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to convert the rest of the tiers over. So I'm going to go into Modify, Convert, Selection, Polygons, NURBS to Polygons, and go ahead and do that. And move that over. Click on that one, and I'm going to hit the G key. It should convert it automatically because it remembers my last function, the last tool I used. G, there we go. So that's pretty simple. And this top piece that we just made, we revolved it, so this is 8, so let's do 16 on that as well. There we go. Okay, so the pedestal, I've got 16, and I was able to do that, and worked out pretty good. So I think I'm going to duplicate this and move it all the way up and replace these guys. These guys are only 8. I don't think that's enough. If I do low poly, it's not near enough. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and duplicate that. So I'm going to Control D. Again, do the exact same thing. Just kind of replace those and get the pivot point brought down. I'm just holding the D as in David key, like that. And that allows me to move it down and do a scale on it. And scale it up. Just kind of fit what that was before. Okay. That looks pretty good. And I'm just going to continue that all the way up. Now, what I'm going to do is the one I just created, I'm going to basically get that freeze transformation. Getting late. There we go. That's what I'm supposed to do. And then I can move that over. There you go. Alright. Alright, that's the old one, that's the new one. Go ahead and scale that down. That one I didn't do much with, except for scale it. Okay. Alright, so put all these in a layer, and then move these back. There we go. Okay, we'll just move those back, and I think we're good. And alright, cool. So now we're ready to go. We've got all 16 now. So that should work just fine. I'm going to go in here and start converting these out. Alright, let's just move that. It doesn't matter. Just move it over. And let's go ahead and hit the G key, and that should instantly convert it. G key, convert it. G key, convert it. And G key, convert it. Now, right now these are low polygon. Believe it or not, that's a low polygon at 19. That's a low polygon at 624, 656, 624, 656. Yeah, all looks good. Doesn't look bad. In most cases, those would be considered high poly. So this is the surface, which I want to keep. Put that in a layer by itself. I'm just call that fountain, and then surface. I may never use it again, but it's good to keep it just in case. Okay. Come back here. Let's see if this will work. I'm going to go ahead and zero all those out except for the scale. Wow, that worked. Didn't think that would work. Alright, so that looks pretty good. For low poly, not bad at all. From a distance, that looks pretty dang good. So if I have to do the low poly, that'll be just fine, because to simulate, to do the simulation, it may not let me do anything else. Alright, so everything's done. Everything's been converted. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to get everything start getting everything set up. You're going to be on your own to texture this. You can use the usual UV texturing techniques that you've learned in other classes, or you can use the Udemy tile techniques. That's what I use. Bring it into Substance Painter. But I do want this textured, and you can do any combination as long as it looks realistic. I'm okay, whether it be cement, and you can go to Substance Source or Substance Share. It's up to you. You can use conventional textures and go into Photoshop if that's what you prefer. I prefer to use Substance Painter. Much faster and easier to use. Now that this is set up as a polygon, I can make it a little thinner if I want to pretty easily. Let me go back into center pivot. That's probably what I want to do. I want to center pivot everything. So center pivot. There we go. And that way, and here I'm going to go move that to the bottom. W key, and just hit the D key and move that down the bottom. Now I can kind of scale it. That, and then maybe so it looks more like a nozzle. Yeah, I like that. That's better. And the water's going to come out of there. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. There we go. Cool. That'll work. I think I'm very happy with that, or good enough with that. So there's my 4-tier water fountain polygon. So again, when we come back, we'll finish this up and show you how to get started with the setting it up for simulation. Alright, I'll see you then in the next video.